Yeah, we can start and then hopefully people join, and otherwise we'll just move on. So thanks everyone for joining. Calling the meeting start at 7:02 p.m. Do we have someone taking notes this evening? Meeting minutes?
Oh, I think that was me. I think I volunteered and forgot about it till you mentioned it, but I will do that.
Thank you, Travis. We appreciate it. All right. So we'll do a quick roll call. I guess I start with myself. Andrew Steffes, Oakland, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073, present. Dawn, you're on mute.
Dawn Rapinski, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073, Oakland County. Present.
Thank you. Liz?
Weston, Royal Oak.
I think we've just lost Liz, or I froze.
Nope, I heard her and I see her.
I think you're froze, Drew.
All right, we'll continue on. Travis here, Royal Oak.
Hi, this is Shar, present Royal Oak.
Eileen,
Sorry
are you
about
back
that,
with
guys.
us
I
yet?
got booted. Oh, is it Eileen's fault? Eileen, is that your fault?
All right. Okay, Drew's back.
Yeah, Zoom just crashed for me out of the blue. Still have internet, but it just crashed. So, all right, we'll just start roll call again, unless if we completed already.
We got everybody but Eileen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Travis, or whoever handled that. Eileen, you're on mute.
Here I am.
Yeah, just say your name, city, and zip code.
Yeah. Eileen Krupa, Royal Oak, Michigan, 48073. Who's taking minutes? Am I?
Travis, I think is.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
I'm scraping away here.
Eileen, you can do March if you want.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, those a little bumpy. Okay, so let's just get started. Does it look like do we have anybody for public comment?
I don't know if is Monica on?
I
Monica,
see there's 2 attendees there.
Monica, I'm going to allow you to talk.
Hi, it's Monica Sipe. I'm just here to, I guess, observe. I don't have any questions or anything this week. Thank you, though.
Okay, hey, thanks, Monica, and we appreciate your email. I know we probably owe you a response on that. But if there's anything you specifically wanted to address today, I'm sure we can try to cover that.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I was just trying to think of ideas and just sort of gathered them all together. So I appreciate the acknowledgement.
Yeah, Monica, I lost your email with your suggestions. I was going to tell the board, but I can't even find it. So.
Oh, okay, I can resend it to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Any other public comments? I think that's it, unless if Jim has anything. I think that's probably a no. Okay, so I want to go through and approve the January 21st minutes. Did everybody have a chance to review? Any feedback, comments?
No, I make a motion that we accept the January 21st minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
And we have to go through and individually vote.
Okay, Shar,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Liz, you seconded. Travis,
Yes.
Eileen, I think you
Yes.
motioned it, so we should be good.
Even though we motion it, though, that doesn't count as the vote because the motion and the second just brings it to the table to discuss.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yes. Eileen.
Thanks, Eileen. Alrighty, so did everybody get a chance to review the February 21st agenda. Actually, it should say February 18th.
Yeah, it did.
Document, let me make that quick change.
Yes.
Mhm.
Any feedback, comments, questions, concerns?
I think we have to bring it to, don't we have to, like, first and second to bring it to discussion?
Yeah, can I even first it though, because it has to come from someone
I'll
else.
make a motion to consider that.
Second,
So, for discussion, I'd like to add discussing Monica's email and some of the ideas she brought to the table to the agenda.
Okay.
Can we do that in events or fundraising?
I think it'd be appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay, so Monica's email. Anything else anyone wants to add? You know what, I'm looking at this and I don't know, maybe we cover this under unfinished business, but talking about, Dawn, you and I were talking about some of the items that we have in the kind of the pool of items that we've either are being stored at people's houses, I think mostly yours and Liz, and then also uncommitted gifts that were kind of done before the pandemic and maybe following up with some of those businesses. So do we want to talk about that under new business then? Or would that be unfinished business?
Are we already talking about it under fundraising? So 8AI?
I think we can cover it there. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page.
I am.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the virtual stuff, I guess.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yeah, we
Okay.
need to be on.
So what I'm going to recommend is that we have a conversation before we discuss that about how we're going to proceed with this, because I think that based on what I'm thinking about is that I don't think we can discuss this outside of this particular meeting. And so if we're going to discuss, either we split off and become the fundraising group, or we just allow everything to be discussed inside and outside of this meeting.
So
Why don't you form a subcommittee?
I know. That's right.
are you wanting to discuss like volunteer process and procedure? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so maybe that's what we should call it.
I think we need to do something.
Okay.
So that would be like D under new business,
Yeah, I don't want to make this more complicated than it has to be.
or A, sorry, a new A.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, works for me.
I think Travis had something.
You're editing that in real time? That's awesome.
Yeah, Google Doc. It's a wonderful tool.
yes, I just wondered if we should be discussing that under 7A instead, since we already have an unfinished business donations and fundraising. If we wanted to discuss that ahead of the discussion of the inventory, I thought that would be an appropriate place without having to add an agenda item.
That's fine by me. We can maybe just put it underneath 7A if you want, and just as part of it.
Yeah, it's nice and broad.
Okay, that work for everyone?
Yeah, did we
Sure.
approve the agenda?
We need to vote on the agenda still.
So Drew, you go around again.
Okay, so motion to approve the February 18th, 2021 agenda as amended.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Shar,
Yes.
Dawn,
Yes.
Liz,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes,
Eileen.
Yes.
Thank you. Awesome. Do I have to then yes myself or no?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. I approve as well. Okay. So I think we're good there. So Jody, I think you have the floor.
Okay. Hi, everybody. And Drew, don't worry about it. I had to chair a meeting the other night that I wasn't expecting to have to chair. Yeah, when you're not expecting it, it kind of like, yeah. So anyway, you're doing great. Not much from the report this month. You can see we're down 1 dog. We're at 3 in-house. 3 of them are on foster out of the shelter. Cats are pretty much the same, but that's again, we've got that group of cats that we need to get fixed. We need to get shots, and everybody is backed way up on their appointments. So in the meantime, we feed them, we keep them clean and warm, and and do what socializing we can. And there you go. I will tell you this one really nice piece of news. Thankfully, the Royal Oak Civic Foundation is now up and running. And over the last week and a half, I was able to direct 2 people who wanted to make sizable donations through the Civic Foundation so they could get a tax deduction. You may see it on your financial report when you get there. We had 2 $5,000 gifts come in just over the last 10 days. So fortunately, and I had been discussing with people that reached out to me wanting to know what to do, and we've had discussions for a while, and this is what they decided to donate to us. So that's pretty exciting. Yes, thank you to Shar and the Civic Foundation for being there. That's awesome.
So were they just waiting, if I may ask, were they just waiting on the 501c3?
They weren't waiting necessarily, but I did steer them in that direction because I did figure for a $5,000 donation, there's no reason they shouldn't get benefit. And so, they had talked to me for a while about wanting to make gifts without giving me an amount. And I just sort of gave them all of the information they needed as to where and how to give to us, and did encourage them, if it was going to be something that would benefit them on a deductible basis, that they might want to wait until we got the all clear. And that's what they did, and that's where it went. So we're really, really thrilled. They've already gotten their thank you notes from us. So do you guys have questions for me?
I just have one quick question. Royal Oak Civic Foundation is also known as Roots, correct? Or is that different?
No, not anymore. It used to be, and I'll let Shar handle that because she sits on the foundation board.
Yeah, so there used to be a committee, of a function of the city called Roots, which managed the funds of multiple city departments and other bodies raising money for the city's benefit. And the fund did some of its own independent fundraising and re-granting to those bodies, but not on a very large basis. But the Royal Oak Civic Foundation is a completely separate 501c3 organization. Its sole member is the city of Royal Oak, but its board of trustees operates independently. What we call the legacy groups, Animal Shelter Library, seniors, I can't do this off the top of my head, Nature Society. Anyway, there are like, I think 7 legacy groups that we will continue to channel funds for, as Jody has described. But the foundation also has the ability to fundraise for broader purposes in the city. And I'll take the floor now, since I have it, to say that we're in the midst of a fundraiser for 3 nonprofits that are addressing food hunger during the pandemic. Open Hands Pantry, Blessings in a Backpack, and the Salvation Army Food Program. We will match as money that they raise up to $7,500 from donations that we have received elsewhere. So if you're contemplating a donation to any of those groups just because you want to donate to address food insecurity, go through the GoFundMe campaign because those dollars will be matched.
So Shar, is everything Royal Oak Civic Foundation related on the city website, or is it all just Google GoFundMe Royal Oak Civic Foundation?
romi.gov/ROCF.
Thank you.
Or we have a Facebook page.
All right, cool.
I have a question for Jody.
I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
It's like Frasier. Go ahead. I'm
Oh,
listening.
okay. The litter program at Pet Supply Plus, how's that doing?
Well, it's doing great, with one caveat, and that is that Purina has had issues with Scamp, which is the litter that we
Yeah.
use. We've got a whole bunch of tickets already in arrears is not the right thing, but basically stockpiled that they have for us in the safe. And I've had discussions with their general manager about this. Even if Scamp continues to be a problem, they will substitute something for us for the, at least to make sure that all of our receipts are good. And I think she said that we had about 150 in there. So 150 bags of litter, it should take us, with this many cats, it's probably going to take us 30 weeks if we keep this many cats. So I think within 6 months' time, we should have this resolved. And either there's a substitute that people can start donating, or we'll rework the program. But I've been dealing, like I said, with the general manager on this, and everything's going fine for right now.
So do you list that under donations when you do a weekly report?
No, those that's a donated goods. I don't list those any more than I list in this report, the food or the toys or the blankets or towels or anything. It's just
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I just thought it was dollars, so it was okay, but
No.
it's in kind. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because we get the litter, we don't get the money, so we don't
Yeah.
list that.
Okay.
One question, if I may, this might be two. Any urgent, changes with the cold weather, Jody, in terms of?
No, not really.
Intake?
Early on, we're dealing with the same thing at the shelter that we always deal with, and it's a couple of times a season. It's an old building with older works, very well maintained, but it does mean that we have to keep an eye on it. If the temperature starts to drop a little bit, then we have to call in our service company to look at the units to make sure they're not freezing up. So when the weather started to turn,
the pipes or the heating?
No, it's the units on the roof. And it
Okay.
has to do with condensation getting in there. And, as the fans are moving, things freeze and things gum up. And I don't even pretend to know, because that's their job. So we give them a call and they come in and they fix it and it works.
Okay.
So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary with this cold snap, because, once the weather turned, we already had them come in and they do preventative maintenance anyway. So.
Okay. And then so currently you said there are how many dogs in the shelter? I see there's 6 on
3.
End of January.
Yeah, 3 of them are in long-term foster.
Okay.
So yeah, but we still list them. They're still amongst our inventory because
Yep.
they haven't been adopted yet. And if the fosters decide not to, which these ones I'm pretty sure will. One had not had the chance to do an intro with his significant other and wanted to make sure that they hit it off. Oh yeah, pretty much to the point where now the significant other is the primary as that goes. So that one's going to go through, I'm pretty sure. The other one is going through heartworm treatment, and the family, I mentioned this last month or the month before. The family is moving from a condo into a house within the next month or so. It just seemed to work out beautifully that while the dog is going through his heartworm treatment and needs to be kept with activity level lower, kept quieter, it's happening while they're still in the condo. They don't have the yard, so all the walking is on leash, blah, blah, blah. And once they get him through the program and get moved, then they'll finalize the adoption. So, and they're in love with him. They're all going really well.
Excellent. Excellent. Any other questions, comments, anyone? Oh, one other thing, Jody, the report that you send monthly, do you want
Yes.
To just leave it in PDF? I think you had it in like PNG in the email. That's fine, but I can't like easily attach them together. So
Yep.
if you want them in a PDF, so when I send them to city, I can keep them together, your call, whatever you want to do.
Yep, and I'll work on that too. I just basically
Okay.
did a quick cut and paste. So I guess PNG is what it went to. And I just
No
stuck
worries.
it in the email for you guys. So whatever you want to do.
It's on record, so it's all good, but just.
Can I help with that?
Yeah.
If you, either Jody or Drew, when you open them, if you click print, you can select print to PDF instead of your actual printer.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
instead of print, when you click print, instead of actually printing, it just turns it into a PDF.
But does it append it to one or two? Because right
Yeah,
now it's
I
split.
did that because the cutting and the pasting, it took it down. It was, the thing is
Small.
big and there's no
Small, yeah.
easy way to, yeah. So I
Okay.
cut it into two.
I mean, you could change it into two and then use PDF Builder to put them in one.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to take some finessing, but that's what I found. I found the photo files were too big, so I was just doing print to PDF to save space.
Okay.
There may be another way, but that was the workaround I found.
Easy enough. I know how to do that. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah. What's the software that you guys are using now? Is this just like a free online or just something you guys bought?
Me guys or Liz guys?
Like you, Jody. You're sorry.
Oh yeah, no, this is my private. This isn't the city's
Okay, so
software,
this
but
wasn't-
I have Acrobat. I have Acrobat. Yeah. I've had Acrobat for years. So
I think he's asking about where that report came.
Yeah.
no, that's an online. Thank you. I'm going, I don't know. So the platform that we're entering, or the website I enter it onto, it's called shelteranimalscount.org.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's through Maddie's fund.
Okay. Good to know. All right, I'm done with questions. Okay, is DC Frazier online? It doesn't look like it.
No, it doesn't seem it.
Okay. I guess we can move down through the agenda then.
Well,
Unless,
he sent the financial report. I think we can talk about it.
okie doke.
I mean, if you want to, it's your call.
I'm fine with it. I didn't see anything noteworthy or alarming on it, besides obviously the great news about the donations.
And
I
I
don't
think those are going to go on next month's because they're not on this one.
Correct.
They were on the February. They showed up on the one that he sent today, I thought.
This is period ending January 31st.
Okay. I may be wrong. I thought I saw them on there.
Yeah, I see
There's 20,000,
9,000 for
9,000.
for this past month in January.
And for that might be January because that might be the Christmas giving, the holiday giving. Because we tend to get about close to 10 around the holidays.
So you're saying that the other 10,000 is not on this one then?
If it's not showing, I looked at it quickly today. I don't
Okay.
read the financials, so I just looked at it quickly. And if it's not showing on that one, then it probably will be on the next meetings.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else?
Jody, that ended 131.
Okay. Yeah, no, we just got, today's the 18th. It was within the last 10 to 14 days that we got those. So that will be on probably in the March meeting.
Yes, we'll see it next meeting.
Yep.
Very good.
All righty. I think we can start unfinished business. First topic was donations and fundraising. I don't know who wants to start. I think I'd kind of like to talk about some of the stuff that we have and don't have, but I think Dawn wanted to kick it off with process and procedure.
You're muted.
Yeah, I really would like to start that because I think that here's my thought process. I'm trying to pull together an event and realize I'm not sure whether I can reach out to people. Whether I can call Liz, whether I can call Drew. I just don't know what the parameters on this are. So I think that what we need to do perhaps is to create a subcommittee so that we can have conversation outside of this particular committee.
Well, I think
Just like we did for the fur ball.
go ahead, Travis.
I think the subcommittee thing got a little challenging because you guys also had to have it posted and have an agenda and had everything. But I'm going to look to Shar for your guidance here, but I believe no more than 2 in a conversation is still not considered a quorum, right?
It's, well, no more than half. So if we have 7 members, 3 people can meet without it constituting a quorum and without them making decisions.
What about minutes? Do they need minutes? Maybe just for themselves?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I don't
But,
know.
you know, if 3 people got together over coffee just to yak, it wouldn't be a violation of the Open Meetings Act, and who would know?
Well, for,
Okay,
for
here's my dilemma right now, because I was going through this. I did not, and sure, I did not talk to David London. I have left him a message. Is the things that we have to go through is, what is the date going to be? The walk, is there going to be a specific route, or are you on your own? Are you going to buy a t-shirt to sign up, or are you going to participate in the walk? You know, it's just like a lot of questions that if I have people to talk to, I do not want to be the person making the decisions. That, you know, if we can have a conversation so that we can get something to gel.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I don't think that there would be necessarily any voting in it. I think it's just having a conversation so that we can make some sense out of it.
I think, if I may, I think it might be helpful to understand the background. So when we were planning the furball, we had
Right.
put together a group of, I want to say, yeah, about 3 of us that sit on the committee, but then about 5 to 7 community members, that were
Right.
volunteers to help. So we were running those meetings just like we run these ones. We were notifying the city, so they were publicly posted. We were posting an agenda, taking minutes, and getting those minutes posted as well. So, you know, historically, we were trying to follow all the rules, so it was clean and, you know, following the rules because we wanted to do it right. But I think, you know, so Dawn and I talked a little bit about the dog walk that we'd like to plan between this meeting and last. And that was one of the questions that came up. Like, if we wanted to pull together some community volunteers to help, I don't necessarily know if we need volunteers for this particular event, but in this virtual format, we didn't really know what was allowed. And some of the question came from back when COVID first was happening and these meetings were canceled because they were deemed non-essential. We did hold a conference call and, you know, posted minutes or something from that. And the city came back and said, you know, you weren't supposed to do that because we, you know, non-essential aren't supposed to meet. So I don't know if that was a virtual issue or if because we were non-essential and met. And I think we were also given some grace because it was all new and no one knew what was going on. But that's the history here. So Dawn and I are, you wind up.
Yeah, so we're talking about that. And then I also had talked to Travis because he was in charge of the t-shirt event. And so if we use t-shirts in the walk, or if Drew, we decide to add the, you know, like some kind of event to party with this regarding the inventory that we have.
Like a virtual.
You know, it's like
fundraising
because
of
there's a little bit of everybody in this, how do we handle it?
And I think it also gets tedious too, because in the past, I don't know if we've had this problem recently, but in the past, there's been question about, is this a working meeting or is this a reporting out meeting? Or maybe it's a mix of both. So
If I may, and maybe Shar, you can weigh in here. The direction if we're going to be a quote unquote fundraising committee with our objective to fundraise, I feel like there's going to have to be some component of this meeting that's a working level meeting for this to work. That's just my 2 cents.
that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. I just, for me, it's helpful if it's clear, right? If we make
Yeah, I 100% agree.
And I think truthfully, part of the conversation that we had with the friends of the library, that some of this was speckled in there, right? You know, that group is free to meet whenever they want with as many people as they want, with themselves or with volunteers, without the like, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but like the legality of the Open Meetings Act. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but like I said, we just want to make sure we're doing it right, because that's, it's the right thing to do. Go ahead, Travis.
I just want to make sure. So if we do the subcommittee approach, my understanding was last time you guys had to post an agenda and everything, right? So we would also have to do this Zoom platform, and potentially, that takes up Carol's time. And it just feels like administratively, it's too much right now to add into what Carol and everybody else have going on with, running all of this. I'd rather
I 100% agree. It
these
seems like
discussions-
non-value add.
Right. I'd rather see us get these discussions done maybe in our once monthly meeting like this than to add on subcommittee meetings and something else for them to have to find time to handle for us.
So then my question is, so Dawn called me, Dawn
Okay.
called Travis. Could we all call each other and have that conversation instead of having to, have two completely separate phone calls? That's what I just need.
I think as long as it's under 3 of us.
Or it sounds like, can we just have that meeting woven into this main monthly meeting?
Well, I mean, we can, but if we're only meeting once a month, then we need to get stuff done. That might not be
In
enough.
between. Yeah, no, I agree.
Right.
To me, I mean, until you start spending money or doing official things to take money, as long as you're just exploring ideas for a fundraising event, I mean, that happens all the time. Members of city committees talk to one another and work things out and then bring a proposal to the guiding body. So I don't see a problem with that.
So you actually brought up an interesting point. I just want to say it so we know it. With Furball, we did raise a chunk of funds that, and I think I said this either at the last meeting or the meeting before, that when we reached out when Furball was canceled to see if any of the companies wanted the money back, they all said no. So
Right.
there is a budget in the Google Drive. I don't think it's in the animal shelter one. I think it's in the Furball Google Drive. But either way, there is a chunk of funds in there that's hopefully set aside for us to use for some event. So thank you for saying spending money, Shar. That reminded me that we do have some money to spend.
Good. So Dawn, just to kind of circle back to this, I know you're talking about this walk event. What did you envision for timing that to be? Because I was just thinking about this in relation to a virtual auction or some sort of, event like that. I feel like the auction, we have a lot of this stuff maybe queued up and ready to go, but I think we need to plan it far enough out in advance where we can, properly advertise it through the, channels to get people to participate.
I think that we have a lot less than you think that we have.
And
I mean, the things that I sent you pictures of is not a lot to have for an auction. And I don't know, Liz, I don't know how much Liz has, but I just think that it's really a small amount when it gets to it.
I think I only have like 4 or 5 things, and I'm realizing now that I was supposed to send that information to you, Drew. So sorry, I forgot about that. I can do that.
No worries. Everyone's busy.
Yeah. So I think the major thing that I was thinking that we could come up with tonight is a date of when would we like to have an event, and I would appreciate if anybody can weigh in on this. Is it's going to be the city's 100th birthday or anniversary this year, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. So maybe we could tie this in with that. And I don't know when the city is going to have their event. I think the Chamber is going to have their event in October. In the past, there used to be the Big Paw event thing in Memorial Park. But if we could have something like at that time, and I was thinking that, not everybody has to walk. They can use their treadmill like me, and I will put a Pound Puppy on my my shoulder, if everybody remembers what a pound puppy is. My daughters had them. So we can create a whole different type, lots of scenarios. And if you want to have donate, if you want to do a GoFundMe or collect money somehow, we could be really creative with, however we want it to go.
Yeah, and I think, Dawn, to piggyback onto that, I like the idea of trying to maybe reach out to Chamber of Commerce and also the city. Maybe if Shar, you have something you can weigh in there on. But I think to
Contact
add,
David, because she knows all the events that are going on.
okay. Yeah, I can maybe reach out to Judy and copy you, Dawn, and see what they got, what they're planning.
Sure.
But the other advantage, I think, with going, as much as I hate to say it, more into that Q4 time of year is, hopefully we can plan it as a virtual event, but maybe we have the ability or the luxury to maybe possibly pivot it to maybe an outdoor event.
Well, I'm thinking more like Q3 because you still have decent weather. And it's
Okay.
right at the beginning of the school year. You can get kids involved.
Yeah, so basically the
wonderful new
beginning
parks,
of
et
September.
cetera. Yeah,
Because my concern with summer is just getting participation when
Right.
you go out of town or they're
Sure.
just doing their own thing. Travis, sorry, Liz,
I think most of the virtual programs out there work in a way that you just, I guess, state how many miles or laps or whatever you're going to do, and you do them when you do them. I know, like, certain apps, we talked about Wolf Tracks, and I know, like, there are other, virtual walk things. So I don't know that it even necessarily has to be tied to a date. I mean, it could be tied to a time frame because you need to know, like, when your fundraising covers, but to target a specific date is
I think Travis, the reason I
probably
was,
not real necessary. And I feel like the later we wait in the year, some of the people that have been cooped up now for a year are going to be out doing other things. And I worry about,
well, but Travis, how
participation.
are we going to do an auction? That has to be done within like a specific day, and like here's when people log on, do their bids, or it's all virtual where maybe there's some process where they submit their bids. I feel like that would have to be on a set
So
date.
you're trying to tie that and the walk-in together.
Potentially, if that's what makes the most sense.
I don't know. I think those should be two separate fundraising things, honestly. I think the walk should be one thing, and I think, an auction where we have more time to plan for that, then maybe something like that in the fall. But I definitely think a virtual walk towards the, end of spring, beginning of summer before it gets too hot,
Like May.
yeah, May would be good. I think, having those like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Liz?
Right. So May.
Well,
Yeah.
Go on, Liz.
any
All
like
right, give me a date. Give me a date so that I can start my thoughts.
what? What do you need?
She
A
wants
date.
A date
A
for
date.
the virtual walk, or
All right.
Yeah, why not?
All I was gonna say is that in the event planning that I've done in the past, that the golden rule is at least 8 weeks out for marketing if you want to get a good crowd. Anything sooner, you're rushing, and anything longer, I mean, I guess is fine, but 8 weeks is kind of the golden rule for that. So I agree with Travis. I see the dog walk or the pet walk, whatever, and the auction is two separate things. And I think that we should maybe try to do a date so it can be kind of like a social media campaign. I think if it's open-ended, like it could be fizzled out.
I think it'll get lost in translation with people.
Yeah.
They
So
need some.
my thought was maybe basically what we did before. The ticket is buy a t-shirt, and perhaps we think of a hashtag, like hashtag Royal Animal Shelter Dog Walk or something cute and fun, and the hashtag's on the t-shirt, And the instructions are on this date, take your pet for a walk, wear the t-shirt and post a selfie with this hashtag. And, you know, our side of things, meaning either Jody and staff, or, you know, obviously we can help as well, monitor social media and reshare, you know, feature some of the photos that they use the hashtag. So I think so before, when we did the walk, the bulk of the work that Dawn and I did was really like planning the route and greeting guests and things like that. I think in a virtual walk, the bulk of the work is actually going to be more of the marketing and then social media interaction with the folks. I say let them walk around their own neighborhood. You know, some dogs can only make it around, you know, a small block, while others can walk for miles. You know, let that family choose what they want to do, but give them the parameters so there can be some sort of social media interaction.
Or people will see each other walking about and
Maybe.
sort of thing. Yeah.
And the possibility of tying it to the animals that are currently in the shelter, like we have a reason for doing this.
Yeah.
And because I was going to reach out for mine, since I don't have a dog, and do it as a GoFundMe. So you can actually make a choice of however you want to raise the funds.
And I think, in my opinion, I think it makes sense to have one source that we're collecting the money. So
Right.
if we want people to buy the t-shirts,
Fair
and
enough.
get the ticket last time, like we did last time, sure. But if we don't need the t-shirts and we just want the hashtag and the social media flyers and things like that, that's fine too. But I think either use GoFundMe, use Facebook, or we can use what we already have, the PayPal. And with that, I don't think there's any fees with Facebook and with GoFundMe. I think they do take a cut. I don't think it's significant, but they do take a cut to, you know, support the use of the platform.
Yeah, it was minimal.
Mm-hmm. So we would just need to decide on that. And then I would even say the day of the walk, whatever day we choose, I would probably ask, you know, Jody if I could walk one of the shelter dogs. I think that would be a great way to get some volunteers to walk the shelter dogs and get their pictures out there and participating in it too. And I know we have, the Adopt Me little vests or big vests, depending on the size of the dog. So, you know, make sure that the pets are in their vests, and, you know, the agreement would be to get pictures so they can participate in the hashtag as well. Go ahead, Travis.
I'm sorry, Travis.
When I've
Travis
seen these
before
done
me.
in the past, they've been done more of like a week-long campaign, because I think when you're doing an in-person event like a 5K or a dog walk or something like that, having a specific date and an event is fine. But if you try to, you know, tie people down to doing something virtually on a specific day, especially when we have, you know, so many people still working from home, and, you know, potential for kids having school at home or things like that. I think if we did, like, I'll just throw out May 15th through May 22nd. So that captures a piece of 2 different weekends. It goes Saturday to Saturday. And I think if we did something like that, that says, you know, over this time period, using this platform, we're having a virtual dog walk fundraising event, and all funds raised during this period go to the animal shelter. You know, find time within this week to do a virtual dog walk. And, you know, I'm sure we'll use some kind of a tracking thing, you know, whether it's Wolf Tracks or any other kind of a thing. But I just think like a week-long thing is perhaps better.
Liz.
I agree. The week long actually sounds like a really good idea. We looked into Wolf Tracks. Dawn and I talked about it for a little bit, and then I talked to Ashley about it. And I don't think it does what we think it does. But I actually struggled to find out what it really did, because there is an actual fundraising component within Wolf Tracks that I guess, don't quote me, but from what I understand, like as you log miles, you can raise money for your individual shelter. I thought maybe there could be some sort of interaction component. There might be, but it wasn't just obvious. Like I consider myself to be somewhat savvy with technology and apps, and it didn't like jump out at me. So
I think the sharing of that on social media and the posting, and linking it to some of your social media accounts is that interaction component.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, so I've seen it done with wolf tracks,
Yeah.
and you'll see like so and so walked 2.5 miles today with Fluffy in Royal Oak, Michigan, blah blah blah. But I think it has to be linked somehow to social media accounts to provide that interaction.
So something I focus a lot on in my 9 to 5 is access. And I worry that if we get too looped up in an app and buying a t-shirt or making a donation on this website and posting on this social media site, that we're going to lose people in the shuffle. I think that it needs to be clean and easy. I get it that, in order to do this, you're going to have some form of computer literacy because it is a virtual digital event. But I just want to be mindful. I don't want to I wouldn't be comfortable making too many stops. I wouldn't want to lose somebody because we want them to download apps and do X, Y, and Z.
So what if we use the newest park up on Normandy, because they have tracking all the way around the park, and we take people's, I guess, photos with their dogs and have people donate to them live. I don't know, just a thought.
We may want to adjust the time frame then, because I guess I would want to steer clear from having people gather or suggesting where they should walk and when, because it could still be a potential timing before
Sure.
enough people have been vaccinated. And I wouldn't
Hopefully
want to
not,
have
Travis.
what's that?
Hopefully not. I've got mine.
Well, there's going to be a large population that's probably not
Right.
done by May. I mean, based on their
I
current
hope.
standards. I just would want to not encourage gathering.
I agree.
Okay.
Probably wait till September, best case for any of that.
I think it's optimistic too.
It is.
Jody's trying to
Looks like
chime in.
Jody.
No, just a comment. There is another app out there also called Rescue Walk. And I would say that somebody who's more computer savvy may want to compare the two, because I think Rescue Walk is from Best Friends. And so it may be more geared toward rescues and shelters than wolf tracks. But the other thing I was going to recommend is, we have a lot of volunteers who are looking for things to do.
Exactly.
Answering Liz's question about being computer savvy. I imagine we could probably find some volunteers who, for this project, would be willing to even talk people through or host something for somebody, or would find a way to, this is all obviously early in the planning stages, but I think we could find a way to help our volunteers step in to help some people who may feel lost in that shuffle otherwise.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks. Generally, I'm inclined to agree with Liz. I mean, I think the two marketing professionals in the room kind of are on kind of the same mind wavelength here. And I like Travis's idea of spreading it out over a period of time. It would be nice to put a coda on it and have something happen on that last day. So I have a question. What is the merchandise that you're holding like? And I asked that to wonder if we could use them as raffle prizes and do some sort of raffle and then draw the prizes online that day.
Ooh,
I really like that.
Well, I like that. But if you saw the stuff that I have,
Yeah.
what do you think, Jody? Jody knows. These are like little animal outfits and animal toys and little dog beds, that kind of thing. Things that have been donated to the shelter. They're in my basement. That's why I know. And I took photos of all of them a couple weeks ago. So,
but they're new, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that might be a way to get rid of this stuff without going through the aggravation of an online auction.
I think that's a great idea. And
That's true.
maybe I want to be careful. I don't want to give a prize for like longest distance walk because I worry about ability. Folks might not be able to walk very far or vice versa. But maybe we could do something like every 5 miles, I don't know, logged, every 1 mile logged was a hypothetical raffle ticket. And then we could, loop in one of these apps that's actually tracking your walking. And then I don't know, there has to be there has to be a website for like virtual drawing or selecting a number out of a list or something like that. So we could randomly do that. And that could be a social media thing too. If they're using Facebook, we can tag, say, at Dawn or at Travis or whoever.
Mhm.
You won this pet spa package that lives and had in
This
her
extra
attic for
large
a year.
size sweater for your dog. It's a 4-pound dog.
I think
You know.
sure. I think that's a really good idea. I think if we take some
It
time
is.
to chew on it, I think something good could come out of that. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
All right. Any other, do we want to talk anything about doing a virtual auction, or is there still, do we want to wait on that until there's a little bit more clarity on the back quarter of the year? What's everyone thinking?
I think we should wait till the next meeting. If we can get some solidity to this, then perhaps then we'll have a little bit more clarity for the future.
Okay.
And I think based on what Dawn's saying, and I'm thinking about what I have, that are donations, the stuff that we had collected is good, but I don't think it's an impressive. Oh, sorry. I don't think it's impressive enough to draw a crowd for the auction. There was a lot of
Right.
really nice things that we just hadn't retrieved yet. It was going to be something we were going to get like the week of the event. So based on the stock, I don't know if it's enough to draw a crowd, a virtual crowd.
I agree. Drew, you saw the pictures.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great start. Probably not enough just for one event, but it's a really good start. We'll just wrap up unfinished business. Oh, Travis?
I just have 2 points. Sometimes you don't always have to advertise what the prizes are going to be, especially if it's a random drawing,
No, for sure.
assigning numbers. Okay, you got a, Yorkie sweater. Oh, sorry, you have a Great Dane, give it to someone else. I mean, it's just, sometimes when you're doing
It's just free swag. Yeah.
yeah, like
Good
more
point.
prizes like that, just kind of randomized, I
Yeah.
think, the incentive of winning a mystery prize is, fun enough. So that, and I also want to hopefully settle on a date or dates today, because I think that makes what Dawn
it
and I
now.
have to do a lot easier.
Yeah, let's just do it now. So I heard that, did everybody like that May date that Travis proposed, or do we want to propose something else around that time?
May is nice weather. I'm not like amazing weather, but I think it's good dog walking weather.
Well, and people have been cooped up for
Right.
a few months.
Well, I'm just thinking of the weather the past years we participated in the the Memorial Day parade has been impressive. And it's also my birthday weekend, so it's always amazing. But I'm not suggesting that weekend though. I'm just saying May, that time of year tends to actually be pretty reliable.
So we'll all come over to your house afterwards.
My birthday present should be not to get COVID, so everyone should just stay away.
There you go.
But so do we want to do a week? That's the thing. We talked. We kind of didn't come to an agreement. Are we wanting to do like an extended period of time? What do we want? The week to me sounds good.
A week sort of sounds good to me, but I think it's almost like too long, that if you really crunched it down to 3 or 4 days, then people wouldn't say, oh, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I'll just wait. Oh no, it's the day of.
You're right.
Oh,
Some people
So if
like
we-
to add multiple days together, though. I've seen
Yeah.
that done, like for a total. So if you have like a Saturday to Saturday, somebody might get out there with their tracking device 3 or 4 times in that week. And so
Sure.
I was just thinking if we did Saturday to Saturday, it also hits part of 2 different weekends in case somebody's, busy the first Saturday, but oh, I could have done it next weekend. Well, you still have those 22nd. So
Jody?
Yeah, so I was wondering, I'm actually kind of wondering in the opposite direction. Would it be better to maybe stretch it out and make it the whole month of May so that we're encouraging people, nice weather is coming, get out, walk, if you don't have time during that particular week, just get out, and it gives people more chances to get entered into some kind of a raffle, and get in better health, and I don't know. I don't have a say, but I'm chiming in.
That actually crossed my mind, like May Madness. I mean, I know it's March Madness, but that.
Well, it's Mother's Day. There's a lot of holidays, so it would be good for a whole month, really, or even 2 weeks. If you wanted to do something like that.
Char had an idea.
What is our objective?
Raise money.
We want to raise money, and the tool for that is the T-shirt, right? People will pay $25 for a T-shirt that costs us $10, and we've got our money, and they go walk their dog.
Mhm.
So, once they've got their money, we don't really care when or if they walk their dog, right? And now maybe if we do want to do sort of the tracking thing as a measure of how many raffle tickets you get, that'd be great. But I mean, at the heart of it, it's just, pick some dates, order some T-shirts. The marketing thing that we have to do is to sell the T-shirts.
That's true.
Right. Travis, and if I can just add one thing, maybe this would be a great opportunity for us to put on the T-shirts, have a picture of each one of us walking a dog, and use that as kind of like the social media campaign to kind of like get this thing moving, whatever platform we decide to use. I don't know.
okay, I guess maybe I was on a completely different planet this whole time. But I thought we were going to be raising money through both the shirts and a like dog walking pledge kind of system, because that's how I've seen some of the virtual dog walks through other animal rescue organizations is, like so-and-so might pledge, $5 a mile.
Yeah.
And these apps track that. I think, Wolf Tracks has fundraising, and Jody mentioned Rescue Walk. I thought this was a dual track fundraiser. I didn't know we were only doing the shirt and not anything off of the mileage.
I had requested that we choose one. I mean, this is just my request, not my decision, but to choose one venue to collect money for this particular thing, just so it isn't confusing. And then I just want to say, I actually answered Shar your question kind of flippantly. I mean, one, yes, it is to raise money, but two, I think there's a chance for us to also create some interaction with our fans, with our constituents of the shelter that right now we're kind of missing because of COVID and facilities being closed. So I think it's a way to foster some community and excitement around it while benefiting the shelter as well.
I think the opportunity right now is to get out there in front of it through the CNG or any other newspapers to talk about what's occurring in the shelter with the hoarding cats, so that we have a commitment to raise funds to be able to medically take care of these animals, which were certainly not expected. So we have a reason for doing this. And I think that people would prefer giving to something that where they know that it's needed rather than not.
Eileen?
I think Travis was right in the sense of, instead of having the auction, having the door prizes, use those things that have been collected. They can be packaged and they can be, if somebody walked 10 miles during the month of May, they get, and they're the only ones, they get number one, whatever.
Or we keep it like where it's like you buy a T-shirt, you're guaranteed one ticket in the raffle.
That's a good idea.
But
Okay.
not to make it so complicated.
Yeah, keep it simple. People want it. People.
Yeah.
We gotta.
keep it very
We only
simple.
have someone's attention 3 seconds when they look at some piece of advertising. Buy a T-shirt. Walk this month. We'll have some hashtags going. It'll allow us to re-engage with the community if we can get the list of. I'm blanking out on her name, Jody. Maybe you can help me out. The lady who engages with the community.
Liz.
Liz Crampton.
Yeah.
Oh, Liz, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we can get her to kind of, leverage these people as like ambassadors to try to get the word out and spread it further, and then, go from there. Liz?
I just want to be totally transparent. I'm very adamant that I don't want there to be like a mileage competition because I want to be respectful of people and their animals' ability. So,
No. If they choose to do that, I just gave that as an example, but it
That's
could
fine.
be that, they walked in the coldest weather. I don't know, the funniest dog, whatever, but they get something that they never expected.
So
And
Liz,
that-
would you, I'm sorry, Eileen, I'm not trying to speak over you.
No, that's okay.
Okay, Liz, would you be object to, like, if somebody bought a T-shirt, they get a raffle ticket for every mile that they walk, that they get another raffle ticket? Would that be offensive to you? Or, I mean, because some
I
people
think
will,
that's okay.
because it's a crapshoot whether you can win something or not. So,
I mean, in theory, I guess, someone who can walk more gets more advantage, but I think a mile a ticket makes sense. I just don't want to award someone for being able to walk 1,000 miles and compare that to somebody
Sure.
who's working 60 hours a week, right? That could only work
Right.
1 mile. So
right.
I just want to try to make it as equitable as possible.
Okay, so so we're getting someplace here.
Well, and a thought too, I agree with what Liz is saying about abilities, and we could potentially give them a ticket if they take 5 photos of their dog, or send in, send
Great
us.
idea.
So reposting gets them a ticket, whatever it is, you can have things that people don't have to have mobility or even the ability to have a dog, and they could still potentially be entered.
I like that. Every time you use the hashtag, you get a
Here's going to be the
But how are we
challenge of
gonna
all of that.
account
Who's
for- how are we-
going to be checking all of that?
That's exactly.
That was my suggestion. So I think we're making this harder than it needs to be. I think we could just do
One
random
shirt,
number
one-
drawings of participants. So prizes numbered 1 through 20, and we just draw randomly from the participant list. This is what you got. It takes away somebody having to earn it in one way or another, whether they can, I don't know. I just think that we're making this
It's the way
harder
the
on ourselves.
competition. It's just a fun thing.
Mhm.
Sure.
Liz?
I think going back to what Dawn's original ask was, is we need a date. And once we have that, Dawn and I, we did volunteer to put this together. Once we have a date, we did a great brainstorm here. I think we can take all these ideas and kind of come up with a proposal and come back to the group and say, this is how we, based on everybody's suggestions, this is what we narrowed it down to.
I think we have a date, Liz.
We do? What
May
is it?
1st through the 31st.
We're going to do the whole month? Okay.
Why not? That way it gives everybody the opportunity to participate however they wish.
So then is mine and Dawn's to do then. How about we come back to the next meeting and share the structure that we've come up with based on all this feedback?
We also need somebody who's going to step in to do the T-shirt.
Travis, you had initially had expressed interest in overseeing the T-shirt piece.
You're on the agenda, Travis, for T-shirt, man.
Yeah, I need some input on that. I guess maybe, Jody, do you think that the lady that works for the city that does the artwork, do you think that she's still doing that? Any idea?
I've already talked to Judy about that. Actually, Dawn brought up the t-shirts, and so I reached out to Judy the other day. She was going to talk to Jen and get some of the art that she already has,
Okay.
whether it's for Romy the dog or Cece the cat, and then if we find something that we like, and then, you know, maybe that's something, if you want to reach out to Judy, maybe that comes up at the next meeting. You can pick a line drawing that you like or whatever.
I'll call
Because I'm
Judy.
assuming 1 or 2 color to keep the price down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'll talk to Judy and see what we can find.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, and I apologize, I'm not looking at the screen. My Zoom meeting is like all blurry and weird right now, so we'll just
It
look.
looked like DC wanted to jump in.
Oh. DC?
Yeah, never mind. Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. My daughter went in a snowbank and I was digging her out. And,
Oh, boy.
but actually, I was going to say something, but you guys already covered it. So just ignore me. I'm going back
Okay.
to you.
We'll circle back to your financials in a minute. One last thing, if I may add, would it be possible to look and investigate if we can get possibly long sleeve t-shirts? Because I know as someone who often gets like these graphic t-shirts and stuff, I have an abundance of t-shirts, but not necessarily an abundance of long sleeve t-shirts.
So I think the way the program works is that Judy can launch whatever options that we want. So
Perfect.
different sizes, different sleeve lengths, and it would be up to each person purchasing whether they wanted to buy a long sleeve version or a short sleeve version. I think that's how that system works, but I don't see why that we couldn't have an either or option. Even if it was a little bit more, somebody can make that decision for themselves.
Right, Liz?
So I just want to confirm what Travis is saying. So historically, the city has used something called, I think it's custom ink. And it's basically the image that's developed is what's loaded into the system, and it's up to the purchaser to choose size and then the style of shirt as well. So the t-shirt tends to be the cheapest option, but you can upgrade to sleeves probably for a couple bucks more. So it is up to the purchaser to decide what style they want.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just so we give people a little bit of flexibility.
And it's really cool because the way Custom Ink works is that we people buy the shirts through the website, and then at the end of the campaign, it's called a campaign, they just cut the city a check and the city will know where it goes. So it's the reason why we used it in the past was because it was our workaround, because we didn't have a way to use like Eventbrite or some sort of ticket purchasing system. So that's how Dawn and I were able to handle money without touching it and get it to the right place in the city.
Super.
Mhm.
Okay, so just a little summary. I think Dawn and Liz will kind of report back next month in terms of what the structure of the WROK virtual fundraiser or WROK fundraiser with t-shirt would be. And then Travis, I think you're going to be then circling back with the city on t-shirt design options.
Can I ask a quick question? Never mind.
And then I will reopen the discussion next week on if we want to do virtual auction in sometime in Q4, let's just say September, October timeframe that coincides with 100th anniversary. So I'll reach out to Judy about that.
I still have one more question before
Yes.
we move on. So are we thinking we want to start this a month ahead of time with the shirts, or 2 weeks, or what kind of time frame? So are we thinking like launch the shirts April 1st or?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to have that information if Judy asks what kind of time frame, just so that she can plan too.
Right. I think we should be ready to go as soon as we make the decision at the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
Because going back to that, the sweet spot's 8 weeks out. So we're going to be cutting it kind of close.
okay.
Silly idea. If you get a couple results back, Travis, of ideas in terms of graphic ideas, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be totally fine voting on it on a Google poll or like in an
I
email.
don't think we can do that.
See that?
Char, can we do it?
No,
Okay.
it has to be brought back to the next meeting.
All right.
But how, can you send out the graphics though, just so that we can see it before the meeting?
I can send it out as long as nobody replies all and starts discussing about it.
Okay,
All right. That
All
works.
right.
I don't like to be surprised.
I'm going to circle back from unfinished business if we're all good. Everyone good? DC Frazier, do you want to go over the financials?
Yeah, just
Great.
very quickly. I sent out the most updated one this afternoon at some point. I don't know if anybody has it in front of them, but
Mhm.
we're still trending below on both bringing in money and spending. So it's a good thing. It looks like as far as expenses go, we're going to stay well under our $107,000 budget, which is an abbreviated budget based on what we could set based on the amount of money that for the fiscal year that was left for the animal shelter. So looks like we're trending very well on that. But because of COVID, we're still trending a little low on the revenue side as well. But all in all, I don't think there's anything to get too concerned about at this point. We're moving on.
DC, what does it look like? And this is really in combination with asking Jody, with the medical
I thought we were.
needs.
Are you talking about how much money we've taken in?
No. The medical needs of the cats. Like I know that there was were you needing to spay or neuter the cats? That it was going to be a significant cost?
Jody, you're muted.
Yeah, I can chime in. With the cats, 31 of the 32 are going to need to be neutered and just have their general. I think they're all in relatively good health. Otherwise, I don't foresee any other issues. If we do decide to microchip them, which at this point, it kind of, since this group of cats really they're not really suited to be household pets. I still am in favor of microchipping them. I would love to do it ourselves because we do it at a much more reduced rate. We can do it for $5 an animal as opposed to having our provider do it for $25. But a lot of them are not really friendly enough to be held. So it's easier to do that obviously when they're under sedation. Now, since it is such a large group, I can also talk to them about once we finally get some appointments opening up, I can talk to them about whether if we supply the microchips, will they administer them and not charge us or charge us a minimum as opposed to their normal. So that beside the point. If we do that with the shots, basic vaccinations, if they are not going to be living as household pets, then generally we also don't recommend that they get combo tested, which costs a little bit extra. The ones that we've had done so far of that group, we have had combo tested. So I could go either way on that, seeing that we only had one that came back with FIV, which is the mildest of the options, and the others were all negative. So let's round it up and say for $50 a cat, we could get them done, which is really what you want to know. So for probably $1,500 to $1,600, we could do all the medical that we would need for the cats.
Would that include the neutering?
That would include, because they do the spay or neuter, they do the combo test for us, they do the basic vaccinations. And like I said, if we microchip, it's going to be more expensive. If we don't combo test, it's going to be a little less. So you're probably still talking under 2,000 if we got that all done, which, you know,
Right.
out of pocket, that's a lot of money. But for 30 cats, that's like,
Not so much.
you know, you spend that in an emergency visit for one dog.
Right.
And I have.
Thank you.
I have a
Yeah.
question that just kind of dawned on me. So if the cats aren't sociable and friendly, and they're not really good for adoption, like where do they go?
Well, that's kind of the thing that we're working through right now is obviously we're not rushing them out the door because the alternatives for them at this point, you know, We are trying to find places that have potentially barn cat programs, or places that have programs where the volunteers want to work to socialize these cats. Everybody's just a little bit plugged up right now because of COVID. Things are slower. So I don't know. At the end of the day, we will do whatever we can to get them placed in whatever the best situation is for them. In an ideal world, they would have been able to live out their lives with their dad in their home, and you know, this never would have been an issue, but it is. And so as their steward, we're just going to find whatever great opportunity for them we can find. So yeah, at the end of the day, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Jody, have we ever had anybody adopt a cat before, specifically as a barn cat? Reason I ask is I have like a boss who has a place, lives up in Romeo, and he's got like barn cats and stuff like that.
Yeah, and there are certain shelters that have programs. Oakland County is not one of them. They're a little less cat friendly with non companion animals. But there are places that have those types of, whether it's a barn cat or this cat lives in the garage, or, you know, they live in our house, but they live in the basement because they're not friendly, and we're happy to just provide them with food and litter. So yes, there are places we have done it. We actually had a family a couple of years ago that were interested in getting some cats who could live in their attached garage, not come in the house because they had allergies, but the mom loved cats and wanted to have cats. And so we were able to work it out. We put her up with one of our volunteers who taught her how to build an appropriate shelter, who showed her everything the cats would need, who worked through with her how to transition them from, and these actually had come in as feral kittens that never got very friendly, but how to transition them so they don't run away. And it all went really, really well, except for the fact that those ended up being the kittens, the litter of kittens that we had that had FIP. So 3 of the 4 of them did not make it. But yeah, the program itself that we were kind of starting worked really well. As a very protracted answer to your very short question.
Okay, well, let us know. All right, so I think we're moving on to new business. Is everyone good? Oh, this screen is awful. God.
I mean, we do have B and C technically to still talk about.
Well, I think we covered, I don't know what other events we had in the books. I mean, that was kind of what we were planning. I guess we missed grants.
Well, I actually don't have any grant updates, but I just wanted to make sure that we were following the agenda.
Okay.
So I guess the minutes should just reflect that there's no updates for grants.
Super. All right. New business. I think we've already talked about the inventory on the donations. I will table the virtual auction stuff. Let me do some due diligence with Judy and figure out where we would do that. Event planning, we already talked about the virtual dog walk, t-shirt sale. I think at this point we need to talk about Monica's email.
Yeah, it sounds like go ahead, Travis.
What?
Sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
Are we putting Monica's email in here or after the Memorial Day parade?
Oh, the way it's on the agenda, it's 8B3.
Gotcha, thanks.
So it sounds like, I don't know if everyone got a chance to read the email. And it sounds like Eileen had said that she wanted to see it again. So I don't know. I mean,
No, you can go ahead and discuss it.
that's not what I meant. What I wanted to ask was, do we need just to read the email verbatim, or is everybody comfortable enough with the content that we can just discuss it? What does the group need?
Never saw it.
I don't think I got it.
Okay, I will just read it. Okay. It says, hi. I was in attendance at today's Animal Shelter Committee meeting. This was sent on January 21st. I had some fundraising ideas that I thought I'd send out for consideration. I found your email addresses listed on the agenda, so hopefully they are correct. One, a virtual donor wall. Maybe this can be housed on the Royal Oak government website. People give a donation in order for their name to be listed on the website for a couple of weeks. Two, virtual donor wall for their pets. Same idea, but people give a donation for their pets and a picture is posted on the website for a couple weeks. Three, shelter staff doodle people's pets in return for a donation. She attached a website to show an example of what that would look like. Four, playing off of the t-shirt sale idea mentioned during the meeting, sell COVID masks with Romy's image. 5, local artist donates artwork for auction. 6, Romy's image with Royal Oak 100-year celebration image on a Christmas ornament sale. 7, Stagecrafters virtual short play. They did their own, they did for their own last December, excuse me. 8, magician performance via Zoom. Sounds silly, but they did this at my work for a team event and it was actually very entertaining. Thanks, Monica's site. So that is the email. So there's 7 ideas.
I like the wall. I think the wall would be a great idea to put on the website.
Do we have the, I guess the big ask would be, do we have the people power within the city in order to maintain that?
Yeah, during this time, yeah. Not unless we have one of the volunteers that has the technical savvy to take over if Judy David would allow it.
That's probably bigger than Judy David. That's probably a cybersecurity legal.
Yeah, but she would have to okay it, I think, before it even went to cyber.
Yeah, no, that's an IT thing, and we're pretty tight-lipped on who has access to put things on our.
Oh, okay.
So point number 6 regarding Romy's image with the Royal Oak 100-year celebration image for a Christmas ornament, I think is brilliant. Because it combines a lot of different things. It combines the animal shelter plus the 100-year celebration. And we could sell it, I don't know, through the chamber. I'd love to think that, but probably not possible. But that could be something that could start, this summer and go all the way through November.
We need to copyright that so the Civic Foundation doesn't run with it.
But I think that's a really, really great idea.
Oh, Liz, did you mention the Script Foundation?
Huh? The what?
What?
The Royal Oak Civic Foundation.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But it looks, Travis, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Custom Ink does more than just shirts too. So we could utilize that same platform and start this in maybe September, October as kind of a end of the year thing with the goal of having those out in November. Even though I know some people put their trees up in October, but I think realistically we could do it in the fall, and yep. I think it would be just a similar thing with that, because that custom ink thing seems pretty easy to do.
In the name of inclusivity, I'm okay with Christmas. It might be good though, since not everybody has trees, that the image on the ornament is a little more neutral, like maybe more of a winter scene than a Santa suit or something like that, just so we can try to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, it could be like a snowman or something.
Yeah.
How about just Romy, the dog? Just Romy, the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him a hat or something. Or
yeah,
a
mask.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So I guess with that idea, it sounds like there's some agreement. I don't know if we have like a running list of things, but if we want to put it on our idea calendar, we should probably bring this back up in what? So if we want to do like September, we should probably honestly start talking about it in like August.
Liz, is there already an existing one maintained? Okay, I'll start one. And this idea calendar, and I'll share it with everybody, and we can kind of
Well, could the list be just fundraising events and opportunities or something like that?
yeah, it would really be like a planning calendar to say like,
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
need,
because
when we need to start talking about it as a group before we
Yeah.
actually do it. Otherwise, it'll be 2022 before we know it.
that's right.
I could even see selling those like an ornament at the farmer's market. If we had a group who wanted to take that on.
But we also don't know what this
Just a thought.
is going to look like. So,
Right,
but hopefully by the time we bring this up again, we can think of other ways to sell it.
sure. But I would like to say that these are great ideas. Just keep them coming.
Yes. It looked like Travis wanted to jump in. I don't know if it was about the ornament or what, but I did see your hand, Travis. No? Travis, okay.
Sorry, I had the mute button buried under my email. I was looking at the ideas again. I'm
Okay.
good.
Maybe it was DC because you guys are on top of on my blocks. Go ahead, DC.
I just want to mention, we talked about the website. We couldn't get anybody else to do something on the website, but if you guys are interested in recognizing people on the website of some sort of wall or whatever, I can reach out to Judy and see if that's something she could do or what have you. I wasn't shooting down the idea. I was kind of shooting down the idea that we could have other people make changes on the website.
Oh,
And when you say the website, like the social media, or you actually mean the city website?
I'm talking about the city's website.
Well, the suggestion in Monica's email was the city's website, just to be clear. It looks like
it should be. It would be nice because number one, more people would look at the website, and the city would be probably thrilled to have more people read the website.
Jody, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, I can make changes on our webpage as well. So if Judy wants to design that, I can always do the upgrading it, updating. But if somebody from the city wants to do a design so that it fits within the parameters, then that's something we can handle in-house.
Travis was next.
So I just want to expand upon one of the ideas on Monica's list also. Number 5, the local artist donates artwork for auction. I guess I want to expand that a little bit more. I think a creative way to do that would be to see how the year turns out, and if things do improve around here and there is an Arts Beats and Eats, maybe we can tie that into that, whether it's, you know, some kind of a small stand or a display with a piece of artwork, and, you know, people can buy tickets to win the artwork that was donated. You know, something where we're pulling in from that big crowd that's there also, and also tying it in with the art theme, or, you know, maybe even some of our other art fairs that we have. If we get to a point where we can do those kinds of things this year, tying it into an event and a crowd like that would probably be an ideal situation for that particular item.
That's a great idea, Travis.
Are there any other ideas from that list that we wanted to discuss tonight?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Looking back at our agenda, did we ever reach a conclusion about reaching out about Memorial Day parade, or is that pretty much not happening this year?
Oh, well, I guess just to recap the conversation last month was the city reached out to see if folks would be interested in participating, and they gave a variety of like if the city was to hold the event in a socially distanced, safe way, would we be interested in participating? If they changed to like a virtual event, would we be interested in participating? And the answer that this group came to was, we're open. Just, if you have an event, let us know, and we're interested in learning more. So we left it open. I have not heard anything from the city since. So, our response was submitted, but it sounds like the other committee hasn't, which is the Veterans Committee, which is very similar to how we are operating. They oversee that event. So I don't know if they've met yet or if they've come to a decision yet, but I will keep the group posted.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to keep CC me, Liz, too, that's fine. Let me know. And then I was going to reach out. Yeah, I kind of didn't really put this on the agenda, but I think I talked about it briefly last one. Still hasn't made it on my to-do list, but I was going to reach out to some of the local, like Royal Boy Scout troops, maybe Girl Scouts. Jody, if there's any like service projects someone could do on the animal shelter, especially the outside, maybe there's something on the inside that would be a service project. Would that be something you would maybe have a short list kind of ready for if someone said, hey, yeah, we'd love to do that. What do you guys need?
I can certainly get a list together, but I'd obviously have to clear it through DC because obviously if they're under 18, they're not supposed to be working on the property. That's one of the things that we've run into before. So, but that's something we can discuss. I can discuss that with DC.
And it could be a fundraising project. I don't know. I'd be open to ideas.
Yep.
Liz?
So the Al from the Royal Oak Marketplace, I'm sorry, the Woodward
Corner, yeah.
Corners Meyer, thank you. When they were opening, they were actually looking for some team building activities. And they asked if the shelter would be open to them sending a group of employees to act as volunteers. So just keep that in mind, that if the age limit gets in the way, that maybe the Royal Oak Meyer staff would want to do an 18 and up service project as well. I just don't want to forget their generous offer.
Okay. So Jody, you're still okay if I reach out to the scouts or no? Or is it, you don't think this is DC? I'm kind of curious on your thoughts here too.
Well, I think, yeah, keeping in mind the limitation to being 18 or older, but there are projects, and in addition to the scouts, like I said before, you may want to reach out to some of the local high schools to see if they've got service groups, because that's where we got most of our donations of the projects that were completed over the last few months were from the local high schools.
So just so I heard correctly,
Yeah.
There would be no way for anybody under 18 to go onto the property? Or is it just a waiver?
I guess it depends on exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
As well, and then you run into the issue of, we have volunteers right now on a list for the shelter, but one of the reasons we're not using them is because we don't want to get groups of people together right now. So
Right.
I guess timing of that would be part of the issue too, of where we're at as a state. But I like the idea, and
I think it's something we can put in the backlog in terms of like when it is the appropriate time. Maybe you guys need new sod or something like that for the dog area, or maybe there's some sort of beautification project that can be done on the outside.
I don't
kind of looking to you guys on that one.
I don't think it's a terrible idea, and I'm not gonna, I mean, everything changes as years goes on. I remember when I was the school liaison, we used kids that got in trouble in school in the summers. We put them to work around the police station, but I had to oversee them all the time. And it was, as long as it was okay, we worked with their parents and stuff like that. So we can flex a little bit depending on what it is and what's the reasoning, and if it's helping them with a school project or things like that. But there's a lot of ifs. We're gonna have to check a few boxes before we get to that point.
It's a world of ifs and buts.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay. Anyone else have any final thoughts? Our next meeting is March 18th, 2021, 7 p.m. as usual. Shar.
I will not be there.
Okay, no
Andrew?
delegate or just, we'll just proceed without? Proceed without, okay. Dawn?
Drew, one of the things that you had suggested before, and we were a little bit concerned about, was about the bottle collection.
That was,
What is the possibility that you can reach out to the Boy Scouts or whoever youth groups that you are suggesting and having them just collect from their families and produce the receipt only?
that could easily be a school project or a scout project that I was thinking of suggesting, or whatever other fundraising project that they wanted to come up with.
Right, that way nobody's touching anything.
Yeah, the tough challenge is, speaking from being being an Eagle Scout, you have to have a project with like 100 or 200 hours, and you usually have to like coordinate with people. It doesn't say it has to be physical, but it has to be a project of sorts that you bring people together and accomplish something. So a very large citywide organized or a pop can drive that went across the city that was coordinated by scouts, that would totally be an Eagle Scout project theoretically.
Mhm. Got it.
Because it was sufficiently large enough as deemed by their advisors. Jody?
Yeah, I will say that if you're going to do something like that with the Scouts, that may be your best way of doing a citywide cannon bottle drive, because anytime you have to do something like that with regular volunteers, they fall off pretty quickly. It's kind of a gross job, and
Yeah.
people don't like to do it for long. So that type of thing, where they don't actually have to be on the premises, and they can, the way we've worked it out is that they can either bring us the receipts if it's close by a place that we buy things from, so that then we can send staff or volunteers over whenever we need something. Or that if they're going to do it, we could probably also work it out to make a donation or make a drop directly at City Hall, so that they could get the receipt from the city. I don't know. It's something we could talk about, but
Yeah, for sure. We'll get the ball rolling, at least on the discussion with
Yeah.
them, to see what we can and can't do. So with that, I think we have I'd like to put in a motion to adjourn and regroup on March 18th.
It's the day after St. Patty's Day. Hopefully it's
Uh-oh.
berries.
Hey, everybody better have a lot of pop cans by then.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor? Shar?
Aye.
Dawn?
Hi.
Liz?
Yes.
Travis?
yes.
Eileen?
Yes,
I think we're good, right?
Yep.
yes.
All right.
Great job. Good meeting.
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.
All
Bye.
right,
Good
take
night.
care. Have a good night.
Good night.
good night.